Greatness is born in you, but it must be cultivated, coached, and proven. We are our greatness. To be who we are designed to be means you must put the work in to become great. Greatest of all time. GOAT. That phrase is not just for the people on TV, it is for us all. To be the best starts today at goatskills.com. Downloadable workouts, assessments, camps, skill sessions, apparel. Connect with the greats on your own path to becoming a GOAT. Move closer toward your greatness with the guidance of GOATs today at www.goatskills.com.
Today's guest is dedicated his playing and coaching career to excellence, amelioration, and servitude. Entering the NFL in 1992 as an undrafted free agent, his uncanny skill, work ethic, and integrity allowed him to excel while ultimately helping the Denver Broncos win back-to-back Super Bowls. Those same core values allowed him to be a world-class head coach and an even better advocate for equality. Please allow us to introduce to you the pride of McKinney, Texas, Coach Anthony Lynn. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Hey, before we get going, man, I'm getting the call. Yeah, someone. Hey, you there?
And for those of those who don't know where McKinney, Texas is, it's right next to Dallas. You know, he's in D-Town. I know you didn't want to hear that, Coach.
Hey, but you know what? You better get this right now before I hear it later. I was born in McKinney, but I'm from Salina, Texas.
Salina, Texas. Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, they need to change that information out there.
I know it. I get that all the time.
Gotcha. Hey, you there? Hello?
Got a special guest for you, Coach.
Okay. Yeah, he having technical difficulties too. That's your boys, man.
Who's that?
Hi, this is Ricky P.
Oh Lord. Hold on one second. It's supposed to be a surprise, Coach. There you go. Hey, Rick.
Hey.
Hey, we're on, man.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Lynn, can you tell who this is?
Well, yeah, we got you on the mic, Rick.
Let me see if he can. He probably guessed by my voice, but I'm probably his second best running back coach he's ever had. Because I gotta give number one to Bobby Turner, who was someone that I learned from.
I thought that was you, Ricky P. Oh,
I said he's gonna catch my voice. I know he's gonna know it, but Anthony, I just wanted to pop in here just a minute, man, to tell you. I know we talk all the time, not as much as I like to, but just to let you know how proud I am of you, man. This may be a surprise to a lot of people, you know, going from the NFL and getting into coaching and then, you know, rising through the ranks as fast as you did to be a head coach. But I kind of saw that a long time ago. And that's one of the reasons why I always want to say, hey, Anthony and I were so close is because I saw a lot of myself in him. Someone told me at a young age, she says, Ricky, when you were a player, you knew you ought to think about going into coaching because you knew what everybody on the field was doing. And that's what I noticed about Anthony from day one. And when he said he wanted to be a coach, I knew it was no doubt in my mind he was going to become a coach and a very productive and good coach. As smart as they come, as a player, hardworking player, but as a coach, he knew everything on the field. He knew what everybody was doing. And when I'd heard those sentiments from Marv Levy years ago, I felt the same thing about Anthony, that one day he was going to be a great coach in this league. And I still believe that. And I just want to tell you, man, how proud I am of you and how far you've come and how far you're going to go.
I appreciate you, Rick, man. That means a lot, brother.
Well, it comes from the heart, man, because when Rob and Hassan told me that they wanted me to pop in here, matter of fact, I'm down, you know, I'm in North Carolina now with my son, helping him move into his apartment, but I'm glad I got out of town because the hurricane. I'm going back tomorrow to see what my house looks like up there in New Orleans. But when they told me, I'm running around today, but when they told me you were coming on, I want to make sure I got a chance to holler at you This is a great show, and these are two great guys you're dealing with. And I definitely want to, Rob, I want you to send me the copy of this because I like to, anything Anthony Lynn got to say, I want to hear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to sell it for $59.99.
I got you, Rick.
Hey, really appreciate it, Rick. Thank you so much, man. I'll be talking to you soon.
Go get in this here, man. You know, wherever you are, I've instantly become a fan of that team. So I'll be pulling for you, bro, and just make us proud, man. And this is not just lip service. I really meant that as a player. I've always been proud of you, and as a coach, I want to be even more proud of you.
I appreciate you, man. You know, one love, brother. One love.
Hey, we got it, man. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, Rick. All right.
All right.
Hey,
Take care, y'all.
prayers for our family down in New Orleans, man. Hopefully, everybody comes out of that on top. I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yep.
Talk to you later.
Gotcha.
Take care.
And that was cool.
Yeah, that's the way to get it started.
A little bit of a surprise, yeah.
Yeah.
We stay in touch, but, you know, not as much as we should probably, but you're talking about good people. He was one of the young coaches when I first came into this game that I looked up to him, Frank Bush, that was also there with the Broncos at the time, and Rick Smith, who later became the general manager for the Texans. They were all three young black coaches that I kind of looked up to when I played, and then when I came into the game, they took me underneath their wing, and they taught me a lot, man. They taught me a lot about the business.
Yep. Fast forward, you're the coach that we all looked up to. You know, first off, I want to thank you for being a role model of excellence to us head coaches that aspire to be the next Anthony Lynn, and the way you compose yourself during times where you could have reacted outwardly, but you stayed poised, kind of like the Obama of football. As if you were solely responsible for the Anthony Lynn's following you. And plus you did it with style. That's why I reached in the back of the closet and got this spiffy little shirt out there. You weren't going to do me like that. Not today, man. I had to. So I want to thank you, Coach.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being on, fellas. It really is. I've been trying to get this done, but, you know, with the schedule and everything, man, it was I wanted to make sure I did you guys right. So I wanted to wait till it was a day off. And it's really not a day off. It ended up not being a day off, but we made the time.
Yeah, that's right. You know, you're in my hometown right now, too. So that's pretty dope. That's pretty cool.
So where you at right now?
I'm in Chandler, Arizona.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm in Houston, Texas.
And you okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Football done took me around the country also, you know, so I embrace it. Oh yeah, definitely will. Let's get it going. Can you do us the honor of introducing yourself to our audience by explaining how you were introduced to football through the time it was time for you to hang up the cleats?
Well, I tell you, I grew up in North Dallas area, like you said, born in McKinney, but raised in Salina. And I was really raised in a football community, you know, but small town Texas, Friday nights, everybody's there, you know, and so football's always been a big part of my life. And I grew up in a single parent home, you know, and so coaches were always like father figures to me. And so they kind of helped raise me along with my mother. My mother's my hero. She's unbelievable, you know, her work ethic and how she raised myself and my sister. But football was always an outlet for me, you know, whenever because I went through a teenage time when I, you know, was kind of like joining a little gang and was running around doing some things I probably shouldn't have been doing. But it was always that locker room, you know, not letting those guys down in the locker room, not letting those coaches down, my mother down, that brought me back and made me do right. And so I owe football a lot. And so I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And I always felt like I was going to play on a professional level, even though no one in the neighborhood thought I was good enough. I was never the best player on the team, but no one was ever going to outwork me. And I just had a goal, I had a dream. And you know, and I think when you believe in something like that, then that gives you the strength and inspiration to carry it out and see it through. And so, yeah, I got to play in college, and I got to go on and play the National Football League when everyone thought college was as far as I was going to go. I was undrafted and went to National Football League and played 8 years and happened to win a couple of Super Bowls and started in the National Football League. So I got to do all that, man. And one day Bill Walsh came over to me in practice, and he said, I want to talk with you. You have time for lunch? Mm-hmm. Now, when a coach come and get you in practice, usually you're like, "What the hell?" I'm like, I thought they was getting ready to cut me, man. Let me go. And he said he started this program, this minority fellowship program to help give former players and African Americans opportunities to coach the National Football League, and he wanted me to be a part of that. And he kind of introduced me to that because he thought I had a chance to be a coach, and that meant a lot to me because after that meeting with Bill Walsh, I never sat in a players meeting the same. I sat in those meetings and I always had viewed it like I was a coach, and that's when I became a guy that knew what everybody was doing on the field. Was after that meeting with Bill Walsh. And so when I was done, 2 weeks after I retired, Mike Shanahan kept me on the staff as a coach because I was basically a coach when I played. Yeah. And that's kind of how I got started. So I owe Mike Shanahan a lot because he had faith in me as well. But that's just kind of how I got to where I am today. And, it took me a while to get there. But, eventually I became a head coach in the National Football League. And it didn't work out over the long run, but I feel like that organization was I left it better than when I got it. We had an overall winning record and winning percentage, and we did some good things. But now I'm here with the Detroit Lions, and I'm really glad to be here with this coaching staff and this organization. Sheila, I mean, the process that we're going through right now, as far as reloading or rebuilding, it's been very positive, very inclusive, and I just love the culture that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell was building here. And it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when we turn this thing around and get it going on the right track.
Man, help us. I'm third generation, man.
Let me tell you, man, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. But these guys are working hard, and I'm not going to say it's going to happen overnight, but I know when it's right, and this feels right. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. You said a few things in your introduction that really struck a chord with me. We actually were having an interview the other day with Rex Walters, and he talked about turning his haters into motivators. And that seems exactly like what you did, right? Because you weren't always the best person on the team. And of course you had people, the thing is you always felt as if you were going to play professional ball. But the thing is you have these haters down there that didn't see the same vision that you had for yourself. And then you said one more thing that really struck a chord with me. You said, I wasn't the best player on the team, but you weren't gonna outwork me.
Or get outsmarted, obviously.
And you can, that can take you a long way. Talent, you gotta have talents, but man, work hard, man. There's no substitution for hard work.
Absolutely.
And you can work smart too, but I just believe the more prepared you are, the better chance you have executing whatever your plan is. And so I think those two combinations are underrated.
Oh yeah. No, that's the thing is it's preparation plus opportunity equals success, right? So right. That's what you definitely showed in just in your life story. So big ups to you.
Hey, Coach. Now, myself being a head football coach also, I patterned myself after you in a lot of different ways. But football is only a small portion of who you are. Some things don't get discussed, but you need to be celebrated culture-wide, just to let you know what you do. I know you don't, you do things that people don't see, but those that do research know it. So I want to be getting touching on that, on the essence of you. So during that interview with the Time magazine, you mentioned being skipped over in class while one of your classmates was handing out invitations.
I remember that. You did a lot of research, my man. A long time ago.
Oh man, yeah, definitely. And so when you asked her why, and she said it's because you're Black and my parents won't allow you to come to my place. Yeah. That story resembles the current landscape of sports overall, the entire industry. I recall Art Shell being hired and how it resonated through our community. Mm-hmm. Estimately, there are 6 head coach openings yearly, yet it's only been 17 total in the NFL. Why hasn't there been more protest against this? It's a blatant injustice. And from your perspective, being one of 17, what is your unpopular explanation for it?
Well, I look at the NFL and I look at society, and the NFL is not exempt from society. When you look at the top Fortune 500 companies, I mean, how many black CEOs you see in that business? At one time, the NFL percentage was higher than that. So,
I mean, coach, but they're not in defense of that, they're not all of their employees aren't majority.
I understand. I don't think the employees, just because the NFL is 69, 70% African American, I don't think that means that we should have more African American coaches. If you're qualified, we should have more African American coaches because they're qualified. And I do see that there are some qualifications, and I see guys getting looked over, like Eric Bieniemy, and it just makes you shake your head like, wow, how does that happen? Steve Wilkes gets fired after 1 year in Arizona. It's just, you see that, and you're just like, as much as things have changed, you're constantly reminded that there's so much more work to do. And organizations like the Fresh Pollard Allowance, that they are doing some wonderful things to try to help level the playing ground. But, sometimes they come across like, we want a handout. We don't want a handout. We just want to play on the same field as everyone else. Yeah. And I do think the NFL is aware of this. As a head coach, I've sat in those meetings. I've listened to those conversations with the commissioner, Troy Vincent, and all those guys. And man, we're trying. But at the end of the day, owners gonna hire who they want to hire. But it's just right now all I can say is we got a lot of work to do. But we have done some positive things though. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say nothing has been done because that would be a lie.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Absolutely. No, I think as we continue to have more coaches that honestly, because I mean, you not only did you do well as a coach, right? But the thing is and I believe it was actually Ricky Porter that said this in our interview. You're not doing this just for you. Mm-mm. Right? You're doing this for the Anthony Lynn's that come behind you. So that when you're long gone, that people can think of Anthony Lynn and the positive experience that they had with him as a head coach or him as an executive or him as whatever, that they'd say, you know what, I'm gonna give this other guy a chance because I remember my experience with Anthony Lynn.
And that's what it's all about, man. We're trying to make it better for the next generation. That's coming up. A lot of young, minority coaches coming up behind us. We're trying to make it better for them, just like, the Bobby Turners of the world that Ricky Porter talked about earlier. Could have been a head coach a long time ago, but he sacrificed so that I could be that guy. And I thought about guys that came before me, that laid the road so that I could have that opportunity. And I need to do the same for the generation behind me. And it is there's more pressure, I believe, on Black coaches because you feel that, man. I mean, it's real. And so, that's a part of it, though.
Well, Coach, my intent isn't to back you in the corner. It's the rare opportunity for me interviewing one of my heroes. Do you get what I'm saying? Who was actually in the fight. So I just my aim is to get as much knowledge and wisdom, out of this as possible in order to help our community in different situations because systemic injustices go on everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's what our show is pretty much based on, helping our community, narrowing the gap where the information is less distributed. When we don't run across Anthony Lynn's every day, So definitely, man, I had to take this opportunity as a history lesson, and one for selfishly that I'll never forget.
I'm glad to be a part of this history lesson, my man.
And we talked about in the opening, Coach Penn had mentioned how you were an undrafted free agent, right? And you said yourself that you weren't the best on every team. And so we understand that it took hard work. That's to make it to the NFL is going to take a lot of hard work. But what's the mindset? Right? What is the mindset that you have to have? Because first and foremost, even if you weren't the best player in high school, you went to a big time program, You know, Texas Tech is not a, small time program, but and then from there, they thought that that's as far as you would make it. But then you went on and played 8 years, won Super Bowls in the NFL. So what's the mindset that you have to have that staying power?
Well, I think number one is you have to believe in yourself. You can't listen to the distractions around you, the chatter. Like you say, you're going to have haters, but you have to know how to use those haters, man. I don't know where I would be without haters. That inspired me, that motivated me. And when people said I couldn't do something, but I always showed up. I was consistent and I always showed up. And I got to Texas Tech, they told me I was going to be one of the top 3 running backs when I got there coming out of high school. And so I get there and they've got 9 guys in that room. 9. And all I did was I kept showing up. I kept doing what I was supposed to do. I did my job. And a couple of guys flunked out that were, a lot better than me, but they couldn't make the grades. And then a couple of guys got in trouble. Then a couple of guys got hurt. And before you know it, I was in the top 3, but I just showed up every single day. And I worked my tail off. And I think when you do that, and believe in yourself, I think good things are going to happen, because it's not like, you're not getting an opportunity. The opportunity is going to come because you put yourself in position and you were prepared. And so that was always my mindset. And I just never saw myself not making it. I mean, it was crazy. I went in and I talked to my high school coach, and I was really going to go to A&M, be a linebacker, or go to Tech and play running back. And man, he was trying to talk me to go somewhere, a smaller school where I could play more. I said, no, I'm going Division I. And then when I left Division I go in and talk to my head coach, Spike Dykes, and he talked to me about coaching already. I said, no, coach, I'm going to go play pro. But he's talking about coaching because he didn't think I had the skill to play pro. And I just never, not believed that I wasn't. And so I didn't have a choice.
Gotcha. That same preparation and dedication, like I say, core values that you develop while playing, like I say, it transferred over to your coaching career, and also your philanthropic, endeavors. We definitely see that, so shutting down practice, in the wake of the Jacob Blake shooting, it created pretty much an industry-wide stance. I really didn't see it much until you did it on national television. And first of all, I want to thank you, for doing that. As we had the opportunity to see a Black man put systemic justice, put equality over the shield, humankind.
It was these players. I mean, they, like I said earlier, they're not exempt from the rest of the world, and we were feeling it, man. And it was, and at that time, I just felt like it wasn't the right thing to do. And so we called everybody in the locker room and we talked about it. And right there, we had our first really team meeting in person because of the COVID. We was having to do everything by Zoom. And so that was the first time I had my team together, was in that locker room. And I used that time to just sit down and just discuss and talk. And there was a lot of stuff that wasn't on TV that we talked about for hours. We sat in the locker room for like almost a couple hours, and just sharing. And it was very powerful,
Coach, what you may not know or maybe haven't considered is that while I was watching that, I have my 14-year-old son with me. You get what I'm saying? So it really resonated. I was able to explain who this man is, and what he just did. He understood it. And that was key. That was key. Did you fear any possible repercussions? Especially how the NFL handles certain protests?
I think there was not from the NFL at all. I didn't fear anything from the NFL. It was you always battle that. I guess I don't know quite how to articulate it, but some fans and some people don't feel the same way you feel.
Right.
And those people are suite owners, season ticket owners. And so you fear a little bit that you're going to lose some of those people and you could hurt, your fan base. But at that point in time, man, we didn't care. We just felt like it was the right thing to do, and we need to talk about it. And all throughout that year, you know, our players went out in the community and they still protested and still did things because it was time for us to take a stand and not to hide behind the shield anymore.
That's right. That's right, man. So like I said, I just want to thank you again for that and for what it did for our culture and those coming behind us. Yeah, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure if you really thought about that, but it really hit different in our community.
And I'd even say, because there's a way to do that, right? And you did it with so much class, right? You didn't do it in a disrespectful manner. You know, it wasn't about, you know, about trying to be or throw it up in anybody's face. There's a way for everything to be done. And you showed an uber amount of class and just really how you operated, period.
Yeah, the football Obama, I told you.
You know, it was so authentic, man. It was, I go to that stadium, we're going to have our first inter-squad scrimmage.
That's right.
I got to evaluate this football team. I got to see what we have, what we don't have. And it just hit us like a ton of bricks. You know, I remember just walking down the tunnel and this song was on in the background. It was, I forget the name of that song, but it was a very powerful song. What was that lady's name? Oh, she's from overseas. I mean, she's got a voice. She can blow. Adele was saying, she was singing this really powerful song, and I'm looking around and I'm looking at all the literature in there, that all the signs up, social justice signs. And I was just like, man, I looked at my players and I said, we got to go talk about this. Right. I can't bring y'all out here like this. You know, I could tell.
Yeah,
that's dope. It was just really authentic by them, and they were just being themselves. And it was, at the end of the day, you know, I was glad we did. It was pretty cool.
You know, one of the great things about being a head coach is being willing to fall on a sword and them knowing that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a characteristic not all head coaches possess. So the Lynn Family Foundation, first of all, should be recognized as one of the country's most powerful and impactful organizations. You know, what you guys continue to do continuously to aid humankind has set the standard for 501c3s across the industry, pretty much. The Lynn Family Foundation, in partnership with Privileged to Serve, just blew the doors off the set standards when it comes to servitude. A wise man once said, they have money for wars, but can't feed the poor. Tupac, Circle 1992.
Tupac. I like that.
East Africa, Tanzania. What made you say, I have to do something to help? And just so happened, my whole family was sitting there watching it then when it came out.
Was that right?
Yes.
You know, man, when I decided to go with Privilege to Serve and Africa Promise Village to be a part of that project, it took a couple of years because I just didn't have time in all season to get over there. Mm-hmm. But it sounded really good, and we were already doing some things here in the United States. You know, we're just trying to help mentor young people and give them. I just want to make sure everyone's playing on the same field. That's what our foundation is all about. Is just trying to level the playing field for everybody. And so, when this opportunity was presented to go outside of the United States, you know, it was just too good to turn down. I just think, you know, blessing others and charity, it has no boundaries. Right. And once, you know, we went over to Tanzania and we opened up that school over there and the appreciation from those kids, mm-hmm. It was unbelievable. Yeah, it's something I would never forget. My kids were with me; they'll never forget it. And it was just cool to help people outside of this country that really needed it, man.
Yeah, that's right. Haas, you have something?
No, I just, you know, as someone, I've been working for or with 501c3 nonprofit organizations for the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. And, you know, one of the things that I really try to help people with is be able to turn their passions into projects. And so, you know, just hearing you talk, because here's the thing is you see what a equal, you know, you see what when it comes to a level playing field, what that can do when you get viewed on that level playing field. So you actually took and said, I want everybody to have that. There are so many people today that will have those types of clarity or get to see what it looks like, but they won't do everything they do to create it for others. And that's what you decided, you know what, this is what we're going to do with this foundation. That's
there's a school in Arusha over there. It's about 3 hours from where our school is in Tanzania. And that's what we're modeling our school after that private school. But I had an 11-year-old girl who's been given an education over there. And because they don't take anything for granted, sometimes like we do in America, I think it impacts them more.
right.
I had an 11-year-old girl speak 3 languages and take me through the whole human body digestive system. And I thought, wow, I had never been more impressed before in my life. She was 11 years old. And I said, we have got to get these other kids, the same education. And that's our goal. It's just to model after that private school in Africa. But, when you put everybody on the same level, on same playing field, who knows? Somebody over there may impact this world that's going to help us over here.
That's right.
In our country. So it was a pretty cool trip overall.
Awesome.
Just so happened that instance was televised. Like I said, it's the ones that are not. You get what I'm saying? That really make sure organizations
and we really didn't want that one televised. I'm kind of, after the fact, I'm kind of glad ESPN came with us. But man, we had ESPN, NBC, NFL Network. We had 5 media outlets wanted to come with us. I was like, I've never been to Africa before. So I hope all you got people with me. I want to fill this out for myself, But my PR guy, Josh, in LA, he's so good. He said, you got to let ESPN come. And so I broke down at the end and let ESPN come. But at the end of the day, I'm glad they came because they did a heck of a job of telling the story and making it more impactful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. On Father's Day, I actually posted that video, and just showed the example of what Black fathers are doing in the community opposed to the negative connotation attached to it. Yeah, I sure did.
Ooh, that's pretty good. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think what's happened is the people who don't want to be televised and broadcasted are the ones who actually need to be, right? Because the thing is what it does is it helps to show others what can be done and what should be done. We all do it with our kids. When my mom needs something, if I'm even just slightly available, if I can push something up, I run and go do it. But I make sure that my sons see it.
That's right.
Or I'll take them with me and say, because my wife is just like, babe, she's just, because I have 2 sisters as well. And they'll be like, and sometimes, because I'll jump at it first. And so what will happen, my sisters, they help out with my mom when she needs something as well. But I jump at it all the time. And sometimes I'll push stuff off that, that we may be doing. And I tell my wife, I said, babe, I need your boys to see how their dad takes care of their mom.
That's awesome.
So
I never thought about it that way. So you're teaching me something now, because I'm a private person and I like to do things in the private. But I mean, that makes a lot of sense what you're saying.
Well, Coach Lynn, there are a lot of things that you're doing that we need to see, that my son needs to see, that my nephew needs to see, because the thing is there's not a lot of people if they want to go and go into the coaching realms like you, we don't have a lot of folks to pick from.
No, 17 out of 40.
Yeah. So when what you're doing is televised, I can say, son, now this is what it looks like. So, I get it. You're a humble man. You're a private man. That's great. But we need those examples.
Yep. Especially a Detroit Lion.
That's the only negative. No, I'm kidding.
I'm just going to leave that there. Yes, sir. Hey, the question of the show is sponsored by the Lynn Family Foundation. Now, you were frontline in a lot of headlines and a lot of publications when it came to the kneeling. You know what I'm saying? So what is your feeling on Kaepernick not getting a sincere opportunity? And do you believe him not receiving that opportunity, opposed to if he was given an opportunity, would greater impact history-wise?
It's a lot of people look at that situation and say, well, he wasn't playing his best football at that time. And some people believe that that he couldn't help an NFL team. Uh, I, I didn't study him. I didn't evaluate him because I didn't need a quarterback at the time. But, you know, I understood what he was doing. And it took a minute, but it had nothing to do with the flag. Once I was educated on what he was doing and why he was doing it, I was okay with it. But I think everybody had a right to do what they wanted to do, and that's why we live in this great country, because we have rights. But I think people just took it the wrong way. He was doing it from a social justice point of view. But and when I sit and talk with my team, I said I would support you either way, whether you knee, whether you stand. But I was not ever going to knee, because I come from a family that people in the military, and I viewed the flag differently. I wasn't going to use that opportunity to do something else. If I wanted to protest, I'd do it in my press conference. I didn't need to do it on the sidelines during the national anthem.
That's right.
And I told my players, I said I would donate. I'm in front of the media 6 times a week. I would donate one press conference to a different player every week if you want to do it. Yeah. So I think I was just trying to provide other opportunities for guys to express themselves, but I was never going to take a knee, but I was definitely not going to diss anyone that did.
Gotcha. Now, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that if he was given a chance, that they could have used that against him, and it wouldn't have the same impact 50 years from now, such as an Ali or these brothers back here on the wall.
That's
You
right.
get what I'm saying? Yep.
I get exactly what you're saying.
Yes, sir. I think because
it became a lot more powerful.
Yep. History books will be written with him in it also. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's what I believe. Yes, sir. Yeah,
no doubt. And things happen for a reason. Sometimes things don't look right, and and it looks injustice, but I don't think you can eliminate the spiritual aspect of some of these situations too. Just what you just said, the impact that he's going to have, and he will be in history books down the road, that could have been planned. It could have been planned by God. And so maybe that was the reason why, he didn't end up on an NFL roster, but who knows?
Well, you guys were cut from the same cloth. You're just a bit more strategic, should I say, that comes along with being a great head coach. It's for everybody and everything, the entity. You get what I'm saying? So another thing I wanted to bring up, I've been thinking about this. I watched every game that you were a head coach, pretty much. I sure did. I sat back, I learned from you, strategies, offense, what you did with time of possession, and I adopted a lot of that in my game when I'm coaching. But one thing that was evident is there was not a lack of preparation. You did everything that you could do to have your team prepared to win games. Yes, sir.
I learned under a guy named Bill Parcells, and Coach Parcells would say all the time, more games in the NFL lost than won. And over a period of time, I saw that happen. And so I always tried to have the team prepared for all situations. But there were some times where I feel like I did let the team down in some situations, because I didn't, I had to let a coach or two go and make a couple of changes on the staff. And like my wife tells me all the time, I'm too hands-on. I want to be in control of everything. And so I didn't delegate probably the way I should have at the end, and teach other guys to do certain things. And so there were some things that I should have been on top of that a little better, that maybe I wasn't, because I was spreading myself too thin.
One thing that reflects
in the end, though, I think in the end, we were prepared, but I think in the end, I should have been more available to make certain calls that didn't get made. But that was one of the things I wrote down that I can do better if I ever get an opportunity to do it again.
What do you mean? This is for me. Calls that you. What did you mean by that?
Well, I got to. If I don't take over special teams, which I enjoy coaching, I missed coaching. When you become a head coach, it's one of the things that you miss is actually coaching a position.
It's boring.
Or coordinating on one side of the ball. You actually miss that. And so I had an opportunity. I was a special teams coordinator a long time ago, so I went back to taking over special teams. There were a couple calls, a couple communication issues that happened that I was over with special teams and should have been on the headset with my coordinators.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And
Gotcha.
so maybe if I had a delegated there and as a head coach oversaw the game, managed the game, maybe we could have won another game. It might have made a difference. But
every game
I was a little disappointed in some of those. But other than that, man, I have no regrets, and I had a good time.
So your suggestion would be for a head coach to not take on coordinator roles or position roles, just worrying about the entire board?
Well, if you know that you're going to do that in all season, that's one thing. But to do that mid-season, that's challenging.
Gotcha.
That is challenging. I think at that point, I would have done some things differently. Maybe I would not have replaced this coach at that time, or maybe I would have given that responsibility to someone else and still looked over the entire team.
Yeah, gotcha.
It takes a lot. It's a special kind of person that can look at a situation and be okay with, one, seeing their faults, and two, discussing and conversing over their faults, because one, that lets me know that one, you're a reflector, and that two, you don't seem as a person who makes the same mistake more than once. And I think that, in order to be successful in this league, is that, that has to be a characteristic of you, that you don't make the same mistake over and over.
We ain't ever got it. If you ever think you got it, that's when you're the most screwed up. So, we're going to make mistakes, and it's a shame if you don't learn from those mistakes. That's the bad part. We're all going to make mistakes, but if you learn from it and grow from it, then it's a plus. It ended up not a bad thing at all.
One thing that I was saying that reflects preparation is one possession games. That meant you had them ready. Execution was a problem. I watched. Yes, sir.
I feel you.
Let's just keep it. Yeah, I understand. Like I say, you fall on the sword, sir, but we were watching. Like I say, I appreciate everything that you did for us and that you do for us. Now that you're in my city, I'll be trying to bring my son out to Ford Field, man, to check it out. He needs to see where I grew up anyway, No
doubt. Let me know when you get in. I'm usually available Fridays.
For sure.
Monday through Thursday, no chance.
Hey, and if y'all need a receiver coach, man, just call Chandler, Arizona. I'm on the next red eye out of here.
Next red eye?
Yes, sir.
At least call your boys in the locker room and let them know you're leaving, all right?
No. They understand. I call them from there.
On your way. You're like, hey, I'm
not even. Yeah, but hey, we thank you for coming on, man. This was so impactful and everything that I imagined it would be. I really appreciate you taking the time, man, and stepping up for guys that you really didn't know much about, and that was pretty cool, man. I'm so thankful and grateful, sir.
Well, anytime.
Go ahead, Coach.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I've always been a fan, just because of more than anything, not even your coaching or football prowess. It was more of your demeanor, and how you handle things. And so I was a fan then, but like getting a chance to ask you questions and get to understand a little bit more about you, I can definitely say I'm an even bigger fan now. So wish you nothing but the best. Except against my Cowboys, but other than that, you guys gonna take it over. I'm definitely pulling for you.
I appreciate it, fellas. That means a lot.
Definitely, man.
Glad we got a chance to finally talk, man, and hopefully I get to see you guys in person one day, and we'll break bread.
Oh yeah, I'll be with Uncle Larry down there on December 3rd. So
okay,
for sure, man.
Sounds good.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. Take care, man.
Take care, Coach.
Bye-bye.
Man, Coach, I'm telling you, when you talk about first-class individuals, right? You can't know this man and say that phrase, first-class individuals, and not think about him.
No, not at all. Like I say, man, that's why he's one of my heroes, if not the hero. You get what I'm saying? Right along there with Ricky Porter and Uncle Larry Lee, those guys, man, that continuously are on the front line for change. You know, our platform is solely about progression. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so someone on here like that can, you know, that understands and that has been frontline, you know, it's just unbelievable, man. Especially
and before we get out of here, I really want to drive this home. Anyone who's listening to this, influence. You know, the admiration and just man, I'm a Ricky Porter fan, bro. Like after we you know got to know him and interview him and just see, you can see, you know, Anthony Lynn. It's hard. It's not hard for me to see that. Hey, yeah, of course this man was an influence to you, and that what that makes me. What that does for me is it really helps me to see the importance of being, you know, of being an influence on others.
That's right, man.
And here's the thing: you're going to influence people no matter what you do. Is it going to be for the good or is it going to be for the bad? Yep. It's up to you.
That's right. That's why we use our platform, like I say, to promote change. And Coach Lynn and the Lynn Family Foundation, like I said, we thank you, man, for stepping out on that limb and coming to talk about conversations that a lot of people don't have the courage to speak about. But it's so advantageous to our people. So we thank you for the work that you guys have been doing. Keep up the good work. ASAP leaves behind you.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, so until next week, we'll see you later on ASAP Elite.
Love you, cuz.
Love you too, cuzzo.
Great show.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.